went to JUCO, my mindset was, you know what? I'm only at JUCO because I didn't get recruited how I wanted to out of high school because I went to a smaller high school and that's just kind of how it was. That was my mentality.
Hmm.
I had grades. I was good in that aspect. I was a qualifier. I could have went, wherever grade wise, but I didn't get recruited like that. So my mentality was, you know what? I'm gonna go to JUCO and I'm gonna show that I can play, and I'm gonna come in for a year and I'm gonna be gone. Right? Come in for a semester, and just so happened my first year at JUCO, I broke my arm, so I only played 2 games my first year at JUCO, and so now it's like, oh heck, well, I was also in the mindset of if I'm gonna be here, then I want to graduate. Even if it's just an associate's degree, I'm gonna graduate. So my first year at JUCO, I took during football season, I took 20 hours. Came back the second semester, like I said, I had broke my arm during that football season because we started in the fall. I took 20 hours. Came back to spring. I took another 20 hours as I was still recovering from my arm, and then came back to summer. I took 6 hours, and then that next fall I took 18 hours. So I was able to graduate JUCO in 3 semesters. But the second season of football, my arm is back. Now I'm like, all right, heck, man, I got 1 year now to show that I can play because I only had 2 games in my first year. And next thing you know, Hurricane Katrina comes. This 2005 Hurricane Katrina happens, and so I think we only had maybe 8 games to start with, and I think 2 of those got canceled. And so we only had 6 games my second year or something like that, or we had 10 games and 2 guys, something like that. But I had a limited amount of games, and my whole goal was, you know what, I just want to show that I can play at the next level and have an opportunity to go somewhere. And I knew like if I just got opportunities that I could show that I could play. And that's just all I was looking for, just an opportunity to show that I can play. And I didn't want to have anything maybe hinder me. So I didn't want it to be a grade situation that kept me from this opportunity because I didn't have the right grades. So I wanted to take care of all that stuff from my end, and then hopefully I got an opportunity. And that's kind of what happened. New Mexico had graduated. They had 3 senior corners, and so after their season in 2005, they were losing their 3 guys. And for New Mexico, the way they kind of compete is they had to recruit JUCO a lot because, at that time in the Mountain West, we had TCU, we had BYU, we had Utah, we had, some pretty good teams in that
Yeah.
conference. And so you're kind of in the middle of Arizona, California, Texas. So you're not getting any of the top recruits. Basically, you're getting kind of the third tier guys from those states. And so for them to compete in that conference, they had to recruit Mississippi JUCO and Kansas JUCO because those are the 2 biggest JUCO leagues there is. And so they recruited those a lot because they needed guys that could come in and play. You know what I'm saying? They didn't need guys that need to sit around for 2 years. They need somebody that can come in and play. And so they recruited Mississippi JUCO. I was a corner, and I was eligible to, like I said, I was graduating, so I was eligible to transfer and be out there to go through the spring. And so when you can do that, it just kind of gives you more options because now they know, hey, he get to come in January. He can go through our whole offseason program with us. He can, be on the college program, learn our system, go through spring ball with us. And by the time the season come, he's 5-6 months ahead, as opposed to those guys who have to come in the summer, and now they just get, quick summer stuff and they're right into the season. So that was just kind of my mentality, man. Go to JUCO, show that I can play, try to get the opportunity to go somewhere. And I wanted to go D1. I told my mom I didn't care where I had to go. If I got an opportunity to go D1, I was going. And I had one D1 offer coming out of JUCO, and it was University of New Mexico. And that's where I went,
At
16, 17 hours away from the crib.
at that stage, was the NFL, and obviously it's like that's something everybody wants, but was it something, I guess, realistic to you? Like, was there any doubt, I guess, in making it there, or are you just doing one step at a time? Like, you just want, let me get Division I first.
I was doing one step at a time because I didn't really know. I didn't really know like to me, I was just playing, man. But so many of my teammates would always tell me, even when I was in like JUCO, like when I was in high school, my teammates would always tell me that I was a college player. When I was in JUCO, my teammates would always be like, "Bro, you're a D1 corner, bro," and I would just be like, "Okay," because I didn't really know, because it was weird to me, because when I'm watching these games on TV, I'm like, man, those guys out there can play, bro. Like, those guys are good. But then when I get out there with those same guys, I was like, oh, well, I guess I can play just like these guys. You know what I'm saying? So it was just kind of one step at a time for me, man. I was really just trying to go as far as I could go. I didn't really start feeling like the NFL was really, really, really like a good shot after my junior year in New Mexico, and we had our junior day, and I ran well, I tested well. Team started like talking to me as a junior, and I was just like, oh, okay. I started seeing my name on like some draft boards. I'm like, really?
Oh man.
Oh, snap. Okay. And so from there, I was just like, wow. So, I was always a worker. I put in the work, and I had a great summer going into my senior year. I came back my senior year, led the Mountain West in picks, made all conference, all that good stuff, won a bunch of awards. And then we played against the big schools. We played against Arizona. I balled out. I actually won Player of the Week against Arizona. We played against Texas A&M. I balled out. We played against the bigger schools, and that's the thing when you go to a smaller school. When you do play against the big schools, you got the ball. Even though you may lose, you got to play well, because that's what the scouts. Those are the games they're going to go and look at. They're not going to go and watch, to see if you can play. They're not going to go and watch you play against a smaller school. They're going to look at their schedule and say, oh, those guys played against Michigan. Okay, let's go see how he played against Michigan. Because then they can say, okay, well, he's playing against quality guys, and this is how he performed. So that's what they're looking for. So for me, I played well against the bigger schools, man, and it just kind of happened, bro. It happened so fast, man. Like I said, I was really just trying to go as far as I can go, get my education, and play. I always had the dream, but like I say, sometimes where I'm from, the NFL seems so far away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think about my kids growing up here in Houston, and the way they live is like, man, they probably feel like it's so easy to make it to the league, man, because they see all these players, they got access to all these guys, they hanging out with all these guys, they probably just like, oh man, I just play well. But where I'm from, it seems so far away. You know what I'm saying? It seems so far away, and so for me, like I said, it didn't really start to seem like a possibility until after my junior year. I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe. So I just kind of took it from there.
I made it through. And everything I gave to you, I gave to you. You got it, it's coming. So are you ready? You